Buying or selling real estate can be stressful. After all, it's not any old house we're talking about, it's your home. So when it's time to buy or sell, you want to make sure your search is in capable hands. That's why we turn to Angie Cole and the team at A. Cole Realty. You've seen Angie featured on HGTV's House Hunters. Realtor magazine named her one of the top realtors in the country. And just ask us, the numbers back her up. So listen up as we cover all the ins and outs of buying and selling a home here in the Triangle. It's time for the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole. I'm Walter Storholt. Thanks so much for joining us this week as we help you learn the ins and outs when it comes to buying or selling a home here in the Triangle. Let me tell you about Angie. She's the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty, serving you not only in Raleigh but throughout the surrounding areas here in the Triangle. And you can find her online by going to acolerealty.com. Angie is a top 15 realtor in the Triangle. Her team helped more than 200 families last year buy or sell a home in the area. And this year so far, she's been voted as the #1 real estate agent in Raleigh by Midtown Magazine and #1 in all of Wake County by the Indy Weekly. She has over 175 star Zillow.com agent reviews, and that number keeps growing. In fact, I probably need to go update that number, Angie. I'm sure it's a lot more than when I first wrote that down a long time ago.
190 now.
Is it 190?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. 190. 5-star Zillow.com agent reviews. She's also been featured in HGTV's House Hunters. Angie, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Glad to hear. We've got a great show on the way today, answering some of your questions on the mailbag today. Every once in a while, we'd like to find out what's happening in the real estate world, kind of recent news, events, trends, and those kinds of things. And Angie, what's something that's caught your eye recently from a data perspective?
Yeah, so I know we talk about how strong of a seller's market we are in, which we still are, no doubt about it. But the reason that we're in such a strong seller's market is because of the low inventory. And I thought it was really neat. I know we're already into August now, but in May of 2018, May was the first month in the last 44 consecutive months that we finally had an inventory increase.
Wow.
So month after month after month, we saw a decrease. It could have been minimal, but still the inventory levels continued to drop off.
That's over 3.5 years.
Oh, yeah. I know. I couldn't really quickly in my mind think of how quick. Yeah, 12,
I had the
24,
calculator
36.
nearby.
But yeah, so in May of 2018 was the first month after 44 consecutive months that we finally saw an increase where the inventory levels went up versus previous years. So good news, I guess, for buyers out there slowly, because it can be a tough market. You know, yes, homes are hitting the market every day, but in certain price points and areas, you know, the inventory levels can be, you know, minimal.
Yeah. Now that data, obviously, we're here in, you know, beginning of August now. That data takes a while to come out, which is why we're just now getting the May numbers.
Yeah. Okay. We typically, you know, I receive that data from, you know, the Raleigh Realtor Associations, and typically they're a good month and a half behind because it takes a moment to compile all of the data. And remember that this is for the Triangle area. So that includes Wake, Durham, Orange, and Johnson County. Okay. So that's the data from those 4 counties compiled together.
Gotcha. Do you think that will continue, or do you think that was just a momentary increase? Because just from the perspective of someone who's been looking at homes, it's been slim pickings most week. There's not a whole lot popping up on the radar of potential homes to buy.
I think it's going to stay kind of stagnant either. All right, stay the same, maybe go up a little bit, go back down a little bit. I don't see a significant, you know, jump or drop either way.
Right.
So meaning inventory levels overall are still super, super low. Yeah. They just happen to be just a tad bit better than the previous month.
Yep. Very cool. That's good to know. If you want that kind of analysis and information from your realtor here in the Triangle and you're looking for somebody to help you buy or sell a home, we invite you to reach out to Angie Cole and the team. You can do that if you need help at 919-538-6477. You can call or text Angie directly at that number, 919-538-6477, to get the conversation started. Or, of course, you can always go online and just go to acolerealty.com or just Google Angie Cole. She'll pop right up there in the top search. Angie, and Cole is C-O-L-E. That's another way that you can do that as well. Well, it's time to find out what happened in just this past week and celebrate the closings and the sales that Angie and her team were involved in this past week.
Time to celebrate. It's the A. Cole Realty Rundown.
All right, Angie, it's the closing recap. How many transactions are we celebrating this past week?
Yeah, so we had 5 closings this past week, so had a wonderful week for our clients. So some of those include, we had Brian and Sarah, who they are first-time home buyers, sweetest couple around, and our buyer specialist, Vicky, had the opportunity to help them out. They definitely dealt with the crazy market. So they dealt with a couple of losses before they were able to put under contract the perfect home, and they are super excited about moving into their new home. We then had a seller, so we represented Meritage Homes up in Durham, and we helped them with closing out their neighborhood. Nice. Great neighborhood, and I've actually had the opportunity to speak with the family members of the buyer, and she's super thrilled as well, which is great. Cool. We then have Kevin and Courtney, who purchased a home in Clayton. One of our agents, Gretchen, helped them, and she's been working with them for over 4 years.
Wow.
4 years. And, there's just been some changes, with personal lifestyles, and, it just, maybe it seemed like the right time, and then maybe it wasn't again. And so they just closed on their first home, and they are the sweetest people again and ecstatic about their new home in Clayton. And then we have Zach, who we helped with selling his home in Apex. He had multiple offers on his home over in Scotts Mill. And then we have Camille and Jillian, who actually are repeat customers. I've actually helped Camille in the past. So her and her spouse, Jillian, ended up buying a home in Nightdale over in Planners Walk. They had a couple of up and downs throughout the process, but, thank goodness they only raved about our team experience that they had with us. So we are super excited to help all of our wonderful buyers and sellers with closing on their homes this past week.
Very cool. So 5 closings this past week that Angie Cole and her team at A. Cole Realty helped out with and made happen for these buyers and sellers. We like to celebrate that fact here on the program each week whenever we talk about all these closings, and we do so with a particular sound. It varies from week to week. And Angie, I think for this week, since we've kind of had a lot of storms and rain the last, week or so, we're going to go with big claps of thunder this week to celebrate these closings.
I like it.
Well, there you have it. 5 closings this past week with Angie Cole and the A. Cole Realty team. If you want to be one of those success stories and don't know where to start, well, here's a couple of ways. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the near future, you can reach out to Angie directly by calling or texting her. 919-538-6477 is that number. That's 919-538-6477. You can also check out the crew online. Just go to acolerealty.com or Google Angie's name, and the first search result that pops up will be the one you want to click on, Angie Cole. Just Google that and you'll find her. You can listen to past shows, the podcast there on the website. You can look at all the different homes that are for sale in the area and find out more information and tap into great resources and tips that are all on the website there that Angie's created. Beautiful website. One of the prettiest in the Triangle, I would say. Obviously, a little bit biased, but that's okay. And last but not least, if you're selling a home, Angie, you and your team use this great tool to kind of get that process started.
Yeah, we sure do. If you are thinking about selling a home and you want to get an idea of what we could list your home for in today's market, you can do that simply by texting the word listing to the phone number 555-888. And from there, we will text you back. We will send you a link. Make sure that you click the link and input your address. And from there, we will send you back an estimated idea of the value of your home. Once again, to be more spot on, we of course need to step foot into your home and do what's called a listing presentation. At that time, we would go over comparables with you, also do a walkthrough of your home. We would go through a whole marketing plan and just give you any type of feedback and answer any questions you might have about the selling process. But if you are thinking about selling and you just want to get an idea of what we could list your home for in today's market, text the word listing to the phone number 555-888.
Again, that's 555-888. That's the number. And then in the message field, you just simply write the word listing. Listing. So send the word listing to 555-888. What'll happen is you'll get a text right back from us that you can click on and put in your home's information, and voila, you'll find out what you could potentially list your home for, what the value potentially of your home. here in the Triangle. Just text the word listing to 555-888 to get that estimate. There is much more on the way on today's program. We'll answer some of your questions on the mailbag and more next on The Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
Buying a home is a daunting task. Don't miss out on key information that will help you along the way. It's the Buying Blitz with Vicki DiProfio of A. Cole Realty.
Vicki, my question for you this week actually comes to us from a listener. Angelina in Durham says, we're looking to buy a home in about 6 months. How soon should we start the buying process and start looking for those homes?
I would say that you would start about 3 to 4 months out looking for the home, keeping in mind that you're going to close in about 30 to 45 days after we go under contract. One of the things to keep in mind when purchasing a home is that when we pay our house payment at the first of the month, we're actually paying for the previous month. So, for example, if you were to close at the end of February, your first payment would not be due until April 1st. So that helps a lot of our buyers, especially those in the rental market, where that they can close in that month in between, still have their apartment or their home that they're renting, plus owning their home, so they can slowly move during that 30 days where they're not making a payment.
Makes that transition a little easier.
It sure does.
If somebody wanted to start the home buying process sooner, they can, but it's just a matter of sellers might not be willing, especially in this climate, to wait that long to actually sell your home and have the closing be pushed way out.
That's exactly right. And I just have to remind them to keep their emotions in check, because if they find a home that they absolutely fall in love with, 6 months out in this market, that's just not realistic.
It's going to take some real special strings to pull to probably secure that home and lock it up for that long, huh?
That's exactly right.
Okay, very good. Good to know.
So if you're thinking about purchasing a home and you want to understand the next steps, it's a great guide that you can receive from start to finish and to take you through the home buying process. You can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888. So once again, to receive a downloadable home buying guide to your smartphone, just text the word contract to the phone number 555-888.
It's getting to know you time here on The Savvy Realtor.
Getting to know you, the portion of our show each week where we kind of take a quick sidestep from the real estate world just to get to know your savvy realtor, Angie Cole, a little bit better. So, Angie, my kind of random question for you this week. If you could see video of one event from history, from before we had video cameras, obviously, what event would you like to go back and watch?
So mine, I guess, really is an event, but more of like a time period. And it would be before we had electricity.
Okay.
To me, it seems like chaos, but I bet it's completely the opposite of just simplicity, where, they didn't know any different.
Right.
And I would love to see how people function, what they did on a daily basis. Just think of just getting up in the morning and as far as, brushing your teeth, but you don't blow dry your hair. You just, will rinse off, pour a bucket of water, I guess, on yourself and just go on with the day. You're not blow drying your hair or putting on makeup. And, it actually, life probably was a lot easier back then. There was probably not as much judging.
Easier in some ways and then not easier in others.
Very true, yeah. But, I'm assuming, I probably would have loved this. Everyone was going to bed a lot earlier, which I enjoy going to bed. I get tired around 8 or 9 anyways. So,
it's dark, you got nothing to do.
I have no reason to stay awake.
But you got to be up at 4 to milk the cows.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about this. So, I would I would love to see what the world was like before electricity.
Well, I know that there are probably countless examples of this in movies and television, but a recent one, you've got Netflix, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever read the books Anne of Green Gables growing up?
No, but my daughter has. Yeah.
So if you guys haven't watched Anne with an E.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. They just came out with the second season.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Is it?
It's a fantastic
Is it based
show.
Around?
It's based off of the Anne of Green Gables.
Okay.
My wife Connie has read it when
Yeah.
she was a kid, and so she recognizes the storylines from, it's still all kind of new to
Right.
her because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But she
I might
she
have
starts
read it
to
when I was young, I don't
recognize some of the storylines. But it's really well done. The show is
Okay.
fantastically done. Really good acting.
But of
it's
course,
a kid show that adults will enjoy.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's really, really good. I think it's a hidden gem in Netflix right now. But of course, it's all from that time period, which is why I'm bringing it up. And they really highlight a lot of what you're talking about. So they show like the matron of the home, her daily routine, and like what goes into just simply making dinner for the crew, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So although I talked about, the simplicity of it, on the other hand, there's a lot more time and effort put into things that we've been spoiled, just blending together a cake, it's hand mixing,
Right. Everything, the level of difficulty
baking, you don't
increases.
just turn on your oven. You cook it over a fire, I'm assuming.
Right.
So much different.
Definitely check it out.
Neat.
You
I
guys,
will,
you'll start an episode and you'll be up all night because you won't be able to stop.
We needed a new next Netflix series.
I'm telling you, do it right now. We just started season 2 and it's really good. Anne with an E is the name of the show.
Anne with an E.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I agree with you though. It would be fun to go back to that time period.
Just be neat.
Maybe not forever.
I was going to say, I don't know if I would want to really live in that time period now that I've seen, what life is like with electricity, but it'd be neat to, be a fly on the wall.
I suppose it wouldn't be tough to still experience this today. Just go live off the grid somewhere and see how long you can last.
I don't know that I would last too long. Yeah.
Too funny. All right, more coming up, and we'll get back to the real estate talk coming up next here on the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
This is the show that helps you navigate the ins and outs of buying or selling a home here in the Triangle. It's the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole and the team at A. Cole Realty.
Well, we wanted to take the opportunity here on the Savvy Realtor to answer a few more of your questions on the mailbag before we wrap up for the week. If you'd like to submit a question to be featured on a future show, you can do that by going to acolerealty.com. That's also where you can get in touch directly with Angie and her team. If you're interested in buying or selling here in the Triangle and need some assistance, turn to the real estate team that knows how to make sure you are one of the next success stories we feature here on the program. All you have to do to get in touch with Angie is call or text 919-538-6477. Again, that's 538-6477. All right, Lisa has a question from, she's in Cary. What does it mean to lock in a mortgage? Some friends were telling us we should do that right away, but I don't really understand their reasoning.
Yeah, Lisa, so locking into a mortgage, to me, there can be a couple different ways to take this. First thing that comes to mind would be locking into your rate. In order, though, to lock into a rate, you need to be under contract on a specific property and actually have a contract that is handed over to the lender. But as soon as the contract is handed over to the lender, meaning, hey, we're under contract officially to buy this certain home, you don't have to lock in immediately. What I would always highly suggest doing is, taking the advice of your lender and locking in when they feel that it's fit or needed, just because they know the market better than real estate agents do as far as, okay, we expect for interest rates to go down or they're going up. We need to lock in now. But locking into your interest rate will solidify that certain interest rate when you go to closing, and that will be your interest rate forever, as long as you don't have an adjustable rate, as long as it's fixed. So that could be what they mean by locking into a mortgage. Also, locking into a mortgage could be choosing a lender. That's a process. I would, first thing out of the gates, whenever you're thinking about buying a home, definitely connect with an agent. And I say connect with an agent first because they will give you guidance on lenders to connect with, who the preferred vendors are, who they feel confident in, and who they can trust to get you to the closing table and on time. So connect with a great agent, which of course, A. Cole Realty would love to be that go-to. But then from there, we would love to connect you with one of our preferred lenders. And there are preferred lenders because we've worked with them, first of all, for several years. They offer competitive interest rates, amazing customer service. And once again, they get our clients closed on time. So, maybe locking into a lender and then also locking into the type of loan. There's many different types of loans. There can be fixed rates. There can be adjustable. There can be 10, 15, 30-year, mortgages.
Right.
You can have conventional, FHA, USDA. So there's many different, meanings that I feel like could come along with locking into a mortgage. But the first step you need to take is, like I said, go ahead and get connected with a lender. Get them or get yourself pre-qualified or pre-approved just so you know the amount of home that that you can afford and where
Right.
you feel comfortable. And then from there, take the guidance of your lender as far as when is the best time to lock into a rate and the best loan program for you.
It's a really good question, though. Thank you, Lisa, for submitting that question. And if you want to check out a mortgage app, one of Angie's preferred lenders, Ned Ligon of Movement Mortgage, has put together a very cool mortgage app. You can text the word lending to 555-888 and download that mortgage app on your phone. You can get pre-qualified from the app and find out more information about the mortgage process. Again, you can just text the word lending to 555-888 to download that app. Kim has our final question of the week over in Clayton, and it's a good one. She says, we're waiting to list our home soon. We just had our septic pumped out, and the guy who pumped it said it has a crack in it. We really don't want to incur the cost of replacing the system if it came to that. Is it okay to just let it go and hope it passes the buyer's inspection? And then if there's a problem, who will be responsible for fixing it?
Yeah, Kim. So, my thoughts and the advice that we would give to our sellers, if you are selling your home and you realize that your septic has a crack in the tank, go ahead and get it fixed. Reason being, that would fall under being a material fact that you would need to disclose to potential buyers. So whenever you go to list your home, it is required that you fill out the North Carolina residential property disclosure. On there, there's a bunch of yes and no questions. You can put NA, but it's still considered to be a material fact that you should be disclosing should you know that there is a crack in your tank. Also, on the flip side, as a buyer, that's going to be an issue I could see that any buyer would give some kickback on.
Right.
They would not be okay with, that type of issue with the septic. So whether, you list your home, I think for any buyer, that's going to be a red flag that they're going to require or expect for you to fix the cracked tank. So go ahead and take care of it.
Yeah.
Any major issue like that, whenever you go to sell your home, if you're aware of it, go ahead and take care of it.
Septics are messy issues, Angie, if you don't address them
Literally,
properly.
they're messy issues, right?
Yeah.
Good one. I picked up on that one real quick. Yeah, but whether it be your septic, whether it be your well, HVAC, roof, if you're aware of an issue, go ahead and take care of it, because more than likely they will pop up on the inspection report that the buyer gets and receives. And if a buyer were to find out that that was an issue you were aware of, it could be a larger issue.
Yeah. And a lot of people, Kim, might be in your situation. It might not be septic. It might be something else where you start worrying, all right, we want to sell our home, but I'm worried. Maybe it's foundational. Maybe there's some other problem that you are worried is going to happen in the home, and you're thinking, I'm not going to be able to afford this fix because of the expense, and now I don't even know if I want to sell the home. Well, Angie, what's happening a lot these days, I think, is people are realizing they can get a lot more for their home than they were thinking because of the hot sellers market that we're in.
For sure.
So a lot of people get pleasantly surprised at what they're able to list their home at these days, and I know that's something that you and your team have kind of sought to solve with some of the tools that you've created.
You're exactly right, and I have found a lot of sellers who feel a lot more comfortable with getting a home equity line of credit to do those repairs and then, of course, pay it off once they sell in their home. But yeah, a lot of our sellers are pleasantly surprised at what they can get for their home in today's market just because of the low inventory and the strong sellers market that we are in here in the Triangle. So if you are interested in selling your home, maybe you're just starting the process, a great way to get started is by understanding what you could sell your home for. You can do that by texting the word listing to the phone number 555-888. So pull out your smartphone, text in the text box listing, and you'll text that to the phone number 555-888. Make sure you take the very next step, which is we will send you back a link. Click the link, input your address, and then from there, we will give you an idea of what we can list your home for in today's market.
All you have to do is send that text to get the ball rolling and the process started. Just send the word listing to 555-888. Just like you're texting a friend, put the word listing into the message and send it to the number 555-888. What'll happen is you'll get a text right back from us. You click on that link and put in your home's information, and you can find out that estimated value of your home if you were to sell it here in the near future. All you have to do is text the word listing to 555-888. Thanks so much for joining us on today's program. For Angie Cole, I'm Walter Storholt. We will look forward to talking to you again soon. Remember, if you want to Learn the ins and outs when it comes to buying or selling a home here in the Triangle, and you need a team to work with. Contact the Angie Cole and A. Cole Realty team here in the Triangle. You can find us online at acolerealty.com. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for listening.